practice that he's doing well with right now, if he doesn't light it up during the summer program, at that point, if Aaron Rodgers still were free, maybe Minnesota could revisit it then. But right now, they are moving forward with J.J. McCarthy as their QB1. The Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to find their own QB1. They'd like it to be Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is not in any rush to make a decision at this time. He's taking his time with that decision right now. So Pittsburgh is trying to figure out what to do. Do they go back to Russell Wilson? They already signed Mason Rudolph, and they're prepared to move forward with Mason Rudolph as their QB1 if they need, but the Steelers will be adding other quarterbacks. They're waiting on an answer from Aaron Rodgers, as are the New York Giants. They've spoken with Aaron Rodgers. They'd like to bring him back to New York, but Aaron Rodgers is waiting on everybody right now. And so the Giants have hosted visits with Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and they do have the third overall pick and very well may be in position to get their quarterback of the future 5 weeks from today in the NFL draft in the form of Shedeur Sanders. So a lot of QB things out there. And the one thing I want to point out, it's March 20th.
Right.
Off-season programs don't start until next month. The draft is not until 5 weeks from today. So I know you want an answer, you want an answer, you want an answer, I want an answer from Aaron Rodgers. But there's really no time urgency to this whole situation, even though everybody's waiting for answers.
Is that, I understand that. Structurally, yes. Logically, yes. There's nothing that he is going to miss by not making a decision today or this week or anything like that. But does it feel, D. Wood, if you're like, we heard Cam Hayward from the Steelers the other day being like, man, if he wants to come be a Steeler, come be a Steeler. I'm not going to go begging anybody. And I think I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. Like I thought he was waiting out Minnesota. If the Minnesota thing has gone away, there's really nothing holding him back.
Nothing's changed with Minnesota. It's the same thing, same situation.
Right, you've been saying this for weeks, basically.
Just waiting on Minnesota, right. And he's still waiting on Minnesota until and if he signs with a team. Anyway, sorry.
Well, but that is my point, is if I'm the Steelers, here's where the urgency comes from. Like, if I'm with the Steelers, like, what is it Tomlin always says? Like, we want volunteers, not hostages, right? Like, what exactly are you waiting for? Like, what is it that is going to happen? You just pointed out it's March 20th. There's no urgency. I get that. There's also nothing that's going to change between now and the draft. So what is it that's going to make up your mind between now and then that is... Why would it be easier to make a decision in 3 weeks than it is right now?
Well, it's hard to speak for him. We don't know exactly what he's thinking.
I understand.
But I think that he feels like it's an important decision. He wants to take his time. He wants to marinate with the decision, process everything, take as much time as possible. Who knows if Minnesota does open up a month from now? You don't know. He's not in any rush. And there's only one Aaron Rodgers right now. It's not like these other teams can move off and say, okay, well, you know what? We're not going to wait because we have to go get this next guy. They feel like Aaron Rodgers is the guy they want. And then there's Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco and a bunch of other experienced, qualified, productive quarterbacks. But Rodgers right now, for better or worse, is the belle of the ball.
I will say this. Is there OTA going on right now?
No.
Is there a minicamp going on right now? So what's the deal? What's the point? Aaron Rodgers, you know.
No, but if you're a team, I'm saying, like, don't you want to know who the quarterback is going to be?
But they can't get an answer.
You know,
Greeny, we have been dealing with Aaron Rodgers for 2 years.
Yes.
Like, this dude, you know, like,
this is who he is.
This is who he is. Like, it's not going to change.
Because my logic is, like, there are two teams that want you.
Right.
The New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And between those two teams, the best situation for Aaron Rodgers and his career moving forward is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I would think the decision would be easy.
But it's not.
But it's not.
Obviously.
Because with him, it tends not to be easy. I get that part of it. What I'm saying is, I can turn anything. I can take a line from a rom-com and apply it to almost anything in life. And there may be the greatest line in the history of movies when Billy Crystal, at the end of When Harry Met Sally, says, when you figure out who you want to spend the rest of your life with, you want the rest of your life to begin as soon as possible. And if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I'm going to spend this next portion of my life with Aaron Rodgers, I would like that to begin as soon as possible. I want to feel as though there's some enthusiasm.
Greeny, he's not that into you.
That's well played. That's good. That's well played. Okay, fair enough. So here's the other piece of this. All right, so you mentioned the Giants have the third pick in the draft.
Yep.
Mel Kiper the other day did his mock draft. He mocked them taking Shedeur Sanders. Field Yates did a little mini mock last week, did the same thing. Mocked them taking Shedeur Sanders. If they believe Shedeur Sanders is good, first of all, is Shedeur Sanders going to be there at 3? Do we expect that?
I believe he will be available at 3 for the Giants. And by the way, like, they don't know that right now because Cleveland holds 2 and Tennessee's at 1. But I think when you talk to people around the league, the sense is that Cleveland would like Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is going to be the number 1 pick. Unless Cleveland trades up to 1, I don't think it's going to get Cam Ward.
Right.
And in which case, I think Cleveland goes either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. And if they go for one of those guys, then that leaves Shedeur Sanders sitting there at number 3 for the New York Giants, if that's the direction they want to go. And by the way, the Giants and Shedeur Sanders have been linked up for quite some time. If we go back to December in the Alamo Bowl, wasn't Shedeur Sanders he had giant cleats with him, right? And is there any star player that's any more prepared for the bright lights in big city, just like Eli Manning was back in the day? Shedeur Sanders also would have been trained for this city at this time. And so we'll see how this all plays out. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers decides what he wants to do. But it certainly feels like Shedeur Sanders is going to be there at 3 for the Giants to make a decision on, and that would make a lot of sense.
Okay, it might. If they love him, great. If they love him, take him, and that's the end of the conversation. And I just feel like I'm trying to read the tea leaves. I host the draft, so I just listen to what all of the analysts say. I'm not a scout. I'm not an analyst. I don't have any inside knowledge on this part of it. But if they just feel like they need to take a quarterback, but the guy they really wanted was Ward, and they don't believe they can get him, there is another option. There are 2 great players in this draft, and one of the 2 of them is going to be available under your scenario, either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Take that guy, and then I'm going to make Harry smile. Take the quarterback from Louisville late in the first round, trade up to the end of the first round, or you have the 2nd pick in the 2nd round. Just write down the name or remember the name and start getting used to hearing the name Tyler Shuck, who is the quarterback from Louisville, who has as much talent, I think, as anybody. He's got the size. He ran a 4.6 at the 40. He's almost 26 years old. There are a lot of things about him that will raise flags, but I think this guy has late first round written all over him.
I love that. My only concern, Greeny, is that I don't believe Tyler Shuck would be there late in the first round.
You think he's going earlier than that?
If Pittsburgh at 21, I think Pittsburgh at 21 could take Tyler Shuck.
Yes. You think he doesn't get past 20? So you think the Steelers, every time anyone says anything, I look over in Schefter's direction. You got a good poker face.
I had somebody say to me about a week ago, a coach, again, they just said, I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers being interested in Tyler Shuck.
Yeah.
The Steelers didn't say that, but other people have said that, and we'll see whether or not there's any validity to that 5 weeks from tonight.
Because people were talking about Jackson Dart there at 21 to the Steelers. Now, all of a sudden, Jackson Dart, everyone suggests, and these are just sort of the way the conventional wisdom moves, Mel has moved him all the way up into the top 10 to number 9. One way or another, I would bet everything I have that 4 quarterbacks go in round 1.
Whoa.
I think
that's the 4.
I do. I think 4 quarterbacks are going round 1. I tend to like your scenario about if you're the Giants, go get the top end player at number 3, and then come back up late in the first and go.